Hey everyone, it's Michelle. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you all 26 skincare products that I have emptied out the past 3.5 to 4 months. And I will say that is a new record for myself. Typically in 3-ish months, I can get around 14 emptied products total. That includes hair care products, whereas what I'm about to show you today, it's all strictly skincare products. Yes, I did get an extra month, but still I think it's pretty impressive how much I've emptied out. Originally this year I wanted to do an empties and newbies format where I show you the empty and what has replaced it in my skincare collection. But considering the amount of empties I'm going to be showing today, I thought it was best to do 2 separate videos in that regard. So today's video, it's just focusing on the empties, and in the future sometime I'll share the newbies, what has replaced these empties in my skincare collection. With all that being said, let's get into the empties, starting off with cleansers. I'll be going in order of how I would be applying these in my skincare routine, just to make it a little bit more organized for myself, considering again the number of products I'm going to be talking about. First things first, we got here the Eucerin DermatoCLEAN Hyaluron Cleansing Milk. This is a repurchase. I particularly like this when it's the dead of winter because this does provide a nice moisturizing layer on the skin. I can use this on dry skin or wet skin. It is just a nice thick lotiony type of texture. I think if you have dry skin, this most definitely can be a staple in your skincare collection all year round. For me, because my skin has now reverted back to its normal oily self, I did notice even in the dead of winter when it was at its driest that this cleanser was still a tad too rich for my skin. So with that being said, I may not repurchase it this coming winter, but it's the beginning of summer, so I can't really 100% say how I'd feel about repurchasing this cleanser. Otherwise, I have definitely enjoyed this in my skincare routine, hence the repurchase, but we'll see about a third repurchase. The second cleanser I emptied out is from DM. It's the in-house brand called Balea. It is their med line, which I don't know if it exists anymore. The empty here is the ultra sensitive cleansing foam, so it's like a really nice thick velvety type of foam with gentle surfactants. It also has glycerin and panthenol, making it not so drying on the skin. I was able to use this cleanser throughout the whole year from winter all the way through summer. I've never seen an issue with my skin or drying out my skin. So this cleanser is definitely a great value. I believe I purchased it for less than €2, definitely less than 5. So if you're looking for a gentle cleanser and you really like the thick foamy texture, check this one out, or a version of it if you can find it in DM. The second set of empties are mists / toners. The first one here being the Avene Thermal Water. This is my favorite one. I repurchase it time and time again because it just does the job of really calming my skin down when it is irritated, experiences an allergic reaction. And I used the tall cans of these when I was going through the CO2 Fraxel laser procedures, when I really needed something to really soothe my skin, calm down the itching, and this one definitely did the job. It is a go-to. It's part of my SOS skincare routine whenever something negative happens to my skin. Recently, going on a beach trip and with the weather getting hot pretty quickly, I did start breaking out a little bit, flushing a bit more. So I had the travel size of this in my luggage, and it did the job. It really helped to calm my skin throughout the day. The second mist that I emptied out is Jordan Samuel Skin's Hydrate the Mist. I featured this in my winter and spring skincare routines, I believe, just as a simple hydrating, soothing mist. And this is also one where even when my skin is pretty irritated, I can still rely on this no problem. Back in the day when I used to wear a lot more makeup, I liked using this as kind of like a finishing spray where it brought out a bit of like a natural skin look. Think of MAC Fix Plus. That's kind of what I compare it to. I purchased this during the Black Friday sale because the price was better for me outside of the US. But if you are in the US and you want to support an indie brand, I think you'd really like this mist and Jordan Samuel Skin's skincare in general. The third set of empties are serums, and I'm going to start off with the peptides of the bunch. Let's start off with the Ordinary's Argireline Solution 10%. I did do a full review on this, so if you are interested in checking it out, I will leave a link in the description box down below, as well as for any other reviews I've done for any products I've mentioned. In short, the Argireline solution did a great job at lightly hydrating my skin. It did not irritate my skin. It did not congest it. It was just a nice, simple hydrating layer. I feel like with consistent use, I did notice that it helped to mitigate any dynamic wrinkling around my eye area, which makes sense because it's the area with the thinnest skin. And that's when I feel like the serum will work best. It's for anyone with thin skin in general, especially around the eye area where you will notice results. I did try using this as a spot treatment on certain areas, like again, eye area, nasolabial folds, and forehead, but I just didn't really notice anything significant where it would seem different from a normal hydrating serum. The second peptide serum I emptied out is Skincyclopedia's Matrixyl 3000 at 10% concentration. What I liked about Matrixyl 3000 is I felt like I noticed the most when it comes to peptides in general. It did a great job at brightening my face, evening out my skin tone, and just really hydrating my skin. Every time I used this, I felt like my skin showed that I had a drink of water. The downfall of this serum, however, is when I started to up the usage to twice a day, and I ended up sensitizing my skin. So I went through a period where I did have to stop using this because of that sensitization. But once that all went away, I just stuck with using this on a nightly basis. I would definitely consider repurchasing this again, but I feel like I'm at the point now where if I do repurchase a peptide product, I would just want it to be a cocktail of peptides such as the Ordinary's buffet. However, what I do like about single ingredient peptide serums in particular is that I get a better sense of what they're actually doing for my skin. So now that I've used the Argireline 10%, the Matrixyl 3000 10%, I can confidently say that I know what each peptide does for my skin. So the next time I see it in any other skincare product or a cocktail of peptides, I know which one will be doing the work. The last peptide serum that I have emptied is none other than NIOD's Copper Amino Isolate Serum 3 1-to-1. I did 2 reviews on this serum, one after 6 months of use, and the second one is after finishing up the whole bottle. In short, I really like how I noticed instant and long-term results with this product. The instant results, it was similar to what I would see using a tretinoin prescription. The one concern is whether or not it's actually doing any collagen stimulation. Nonetheless, I do think it's a great alternative to those who cannot tolerate vitamin A and are willing to spend a bit more money trying out something different from vitamin A. And even though it is an expensive product for 30 mils, a little goes a long way. I only ever needed 3 to 4 drops for my whole face, maybe up to 6 if I'm doing my face, neck, and chest. So there's a lot of mileage with this serum. You just need to know how to use it in your skincare routine, which is typically after some type of mist, making sure your skin is damp so a little can go a long way and spread really nicely on your skin. Second set of serums that I have emptied out are kind of barrier supporting type of serum. So I have 4 of them here to show you all. Let's start out with the 2 small ones. The first one here, I'm going to just mention it quickly. It's the Micaoji Nicotinamide Essence. This is a Chinese brand that my friend brought for me during her visit to China. It's a niacinamide serum. It does have tranexamic acid in it. It works similarly to other niacinamide serums I have tried, where it just does a great job at instantly brightening the skin and just refining the look of my pores. I did notice a bit of sensitization with this serum. I do suspect the base of the product. I've been noticing this with other skincare products I have, where the second ingredient in the list is propylene glycol. I'm not 100% sure if that's the ingredient that's sensitizing my skin. I just noticed that was the common denominator with not only this serum, but a few other serums I have tried where the base is aqua, propylene glycol, something else. For the most part, my skin got on with this well. I don't think you need to go out of your way to find this unless you are in China and you see it fairly easily. Otherwise, any other niacinamide serum will do. The second barrier serum I have used up is Sulwhasoo's First Care Activating Serum. I got the travel size for around $8 Canadian, and I'm really impressed at how much I was able to use for such a small bottle. I feel like if I actually used it consistently on a daily basis, I probably got around 2 weeks-ish usage out of it. I would always do 2 pumps, apply it all over my face and neck. It has a really nice light smell, nothing too overbearing where it gives me a headache. And every time I use this, I noticed that my skin just looked good. I don't know how else to describe it other than I would wake up with more radiant, brighter, even skin. And when I would use this in the daytime, my skin felt very calm and collected. I'm not sure if I would purchase the full size. I've been really wanting to just have it in my skincare routine in general because it's a brand that is based on traditional Korean medicine. It has fermented ingredients in it, the main one being the Korean ginseng. And I would just really like to try it and crush my curiosity. But so far with the travel size, I feel like I got a general idea of what it can do, and I'm happy that my skin tolerated it really well. Third serum emptied, it is the Jordan Samuel Skin Hydrate Facial Serum. This was okay. It was a generic hydrating serum. I can see why people like it in their skincare collection. It's just a really nice staple to have. Unfortunately, I did notice that when my skin felt a little bit more sensitive, this did not really soothe my skin. I actually felt a slight bit of sensitization. Otherwise, I really liked the texture of this serum, the simple hydration it provided for my skin, and I feel like that's where it serves its purpose the best when you want to support a smaller brand and just have a really nice, hydrating, somewhat soothing serum in your collection. The last serum I have used up is Dr. G's Red Blemish Clear Soothing Active Essence. I purchased this based on Odile Monod's recommendation. I remember she had like a really bad breakout and she used this essence as well as the soothing cream. I was very curious about it. I saw this in store at the Eaton Center in Toronto. They have a new Asian beauty shop on one of the floors, so that's where I saw this. At first, when I was using it, I didn't really notice much. The more I continued to use it through various skin circumstances, the more I really begun to appreciate this essence, especially with the mileage I got from it, because it is 80 mils and the price is rather high. I want to say it's around $50, but like I said, you get 80 mils of product, and I would only use 1 to 2 pumps at a time. It's a nice light gel texture, sinks into the skin really fast. I think if you have super oily skin where you feel like anything with some type of film just feels too heavy on your skin, you would really like this essence. I noticed that while it wasn't the most powerful at tackling breakouts, I did still notice a soothing effect and anti-inflammatory effect around my breakouts, and my skin just really liked this essence, and I feel like if I actually used it on a consistent basis, it would last quite a while in my skincare routine. This is a little bit difficult for me to repurchase online, but if I do end up seeing it and it's within my budget, I think I will definitely be picking it up again. That's it for all the serums. Now moving on to the moisturizers. I am going to start off with the only one that has any actives in it. It's an eye cream. It's from THERAMID. It is the Advanced Eye Treatment. This one really intrigued me because it contains 5% of a peptide complex, 5% of a ceramide complex, 5% of ascorbyl glucoside, which is a vitamin C derivative, and 1% of encapsulated retinol. The reason why this took such a long time to finish is that I kind of didn't really care for the texture the more I used it. It was kind of like a snail mucin-y like texture, even though there's no snail mucin in it, but you know, that kind of like goopy consistency of a snail essence. That's what this was doing. It still left like a nice thin layer around my eye area, but I started using this after I finished using Hyalamide's Sub Q Eyes, which is unfortunately discontinued. That was like one of the best eye treatment things that I have ever used. My eye area looked so good. Knowing the results I got from that serum And then using this, I felt like it just didn't compare. And I really feel like I lost the motivation to use eye creams in general. So that's why it took a long time to use. I ended up using this all over my neck as a type of like retinol treatment because I'm not using any tretinoin on my neck. I think if you're looking at this for an actual eye treatment, you will like it. It doesn't compare to Hylamide Sub-Q eyes, but I think you will get benefits from this. And if you're someone that has a thing for eye treatments, you probably will be interested in this. The next lineup of moisturizers, they're all face moisturizers. I'm going to quickly go through the ones you've seen time and time again on my channel. The first one being a cut up of the Bioderma Atoderm Intensive Balm. This is the last of it in my skincare collection. Both my husband and I have been using this for years. Back when my skin was super dehydrated, super dry, this was the only moisturizer that felt like it satisfyingly moisturized my skin without congesting it, and I even noticed a calming effect with it. For years, I've been purchasing and repurchasing this to use in my morning and nighttime skincare routine. Have constantly recommended it to you all if you had a similar skin type to what I do, and I still recommend it if you have more of a drier skin type or you want to use this on your body. At this point in time with my skin, I no longer need such a heavy cream like the Bioderma Atoderm Intensive Balm. I might purchase it again strictly because my husband likes using it. Right now, he replaced it with the Cerave moisturizing cream, but I think he actually now likes this one more. So maybe when he's done with the Cerave, we'll be repurchasing this. It'll be in the skincare collection one way or another, but when it comes to me and usage on my face, I will no longer be using it. But again, if you have severely dehydrated and dry skin and acne prone skin, I highly recommend it. Second moisturizer you most definitely have seen in my skincare videos time and time again is the Cerave Facial Moisturizing Lotion. I have recommended this moisturizer to many family members and friends because it is a lighter version of the moisturizing cream. It is lotion based. It still has the 3 essential ceramides, niacinamide, and hyaluronic acid. Even though this is 52 mils, it still lasts quite a bit in my skincare routine. If you have skin like mine where you want something with a little bit more emollients but nothing too heavy, highly recommend the Cerave Facial Moisturizing Lotion PM. Third moisturizer that has been mentioned on my channel multiple times and has been a favorite feature is the Dr. G Red Blemish Clear Soothing Cream. I just love how lightweight it is. It glides easily on the skin. It feels cooling. I'm able to use it on angry skin days. It does not congest my skin. I actually find that it slightly brightens my skin because of the niacinamide in it. It is one of my favorite Korean skincare moisturizers I have come across to date. This is another one along with the Essence that if it's within my budget and I happen to see it on whatever website where they sell Dr. G, I most likely will probably repurchase it. Actually, on that note, I believe this is the older version of the soothing cream. The new one has the fermented cica in it. I really wish they just made another version of that instead of getting rid of what everyone loved to begin with. But either way, with the new one, with the new fermented ingredients in it, I probably most likely will still try it because my skin does tolerate fermented ingredients. The last moisturizer I emptied out the past 3.5 to 4 months is a new one on my channel. It is the Bioderma Atoderm Intensive Gel Cream. When I first used this, it was at the end of summer. I just applied it to my face and I immediately felt this lovely cooling sensation. I'm not sure what ingredient does it. This does not seem to have any type of occlusive in the formula. I think it's a heavy base of glycerin. It also has niacinamide, the salt form of licorice extract, and it has the various sugar molecules that you find in Bioderma products which help with skin's hydration. I am on the fence about whether or not I want to repurchase the full size of this because more often than not what happened is that it was pilling on my face. It didn't matter how many layers of skincare I had on prior to using the gel cream. It would just pill on my face at random, and that's definitely a no bueno to me in my skincare routine. But again, there's sometimes where it didn't happen and my skin felt great using this. We'll just see how my mood is and if I'm really desperate for a new moisturizer. Otherwise, I probably won't be repurchasing it, but I still recommend you all to give it a try because maybe that pilling was just the case for me. It may not be for you. That's it for the moisturizers. The next skincare empty, it's a standalone in its category. It's a facial oil. It is the Ordinary's 100% plant-derived squalane. When my skin was drier, this worked really well. It made my skin look so glowy and bright and even. I was just really impressed at what a few drops of this did for my skin. But again, come the normalization of my skin back to its oily self, I feel like this oil, as well as the rosehip seed oil I mentioned in my previous video, just stopped working for my skin. I noticed a lot of congestion on my face. It's really sad, but I still managed to finish this up. I just had to resort to using it on my body to finish it up. It's a real shame though, because I was hoping that this would be like the facial oil that I could have in my skincare collection, but it just seems that facial oils just don't like me. Next set of skincare empties are acne patches. So this one, I don't even know if it still exists. It is the Etude House AC Cleanup Spot Patch. This one, I bought a whole pack of them on one of my last trips to South Korea. So I've had them for years, but they've remained unopened in a cool, dry place. What I really like about these Etude House ones, even though I don't think they're available, but hopefully they are, it's that they're a nice thin type of patch. They adhere onto my skin really nicely. And I noticed even back in the day when I would have like the really big cystic spots on my cheek, I was able to use these acne patches on those types of cysts, and it would help reduce the cyst, the size, the inflammation, everything. So that's when I was first really impressed with acne patches. I have maybe a few of these left. Let me know in the comments down below which ones you like. I will try finding these ones, but if not, I will definitely be taking a look at your recommendations to see what I could repurchase. The second acne patch that I emptied up is a box of 5. It's from Acnemy. This was sent to me at the beginning of the year. It is the Zitless patches with microdarts for early stage pimples. So just like the Etude House acne patches, I would use these on pretty big cysts on my face when, I was having a really bad breakout. And I was hoping that with an acne micro dart patch, this one contains salicylic acid, retinol, hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, oligopeptide 76. So really nice actives in there, especially when it comes to dealing with acne. I was hoping for something a bit more than what my typical routine would be when it came to dealing with big acne cysts. So what I would typically do is put benzoyl peroxide on that spot, and then once it dried, I would put an acne patch on it. And sometimes an acne patch alone helped to lower inflammation and just bring the pus to a head. So with the microdarts, I was just hoping that I didn't need to use anything else. I could just put it on and just see it do its thing. But I felt like I didn't notice anything significantly different. I'm grateful that I was able to try it to see what microdart patches are about. But for the Acnemy ones in particular, I didn't really see anything groundbreaking when it came to dealing with a really bad breakout. Let me know in the comments down below if you've tried the Acnemy microdart patches, if you have a completely different experience than I did. It would be great to know if someone was looking into these and they worked for you, even though they didn't work for me. Also, if you have recommendations for different microdart patches that you think work even better, let me know in the comments down below. Next empties, just 2 sheet masks here. Very quick. This Etude House Lotus sheet mask. This type of sheet mask has been my favorite one I have ever tried. The 0.2 millimeter sheet mask. It just fits my skin so nicely. And with the Etude House ones in particular, again, I don't know if they still sell them or not because they're so old, but I really love what they do for my skin, the base formula of it. I always feel like my skin looks better when I use the Etude House masks, again, because of the formula of the sheet mask serum, but also the sheet mask itself, how it hugs onto my skin. Really enjoy using these sheet masks. I'm going to say sheet masks again. The second sheet mask I have emptied out. I was really impressed with it. My friend tried it as well, and she also really liked it. It is the Skincyclopedia 5% glycolic and lactic and mandelic and polyhydroxy acids night sheet mask, otherwise known as the multi-acid peel. Unfortunately, I don't know what the percentages are in particular of each chemical exfoliant, but the bulk is 5% total, which I think is fine for just a sheet mask use when you want to just lightly refine your skin texture and moisturize it. And that's basically what this sheet mask did. I felt like the serum was dripping a little bit too much, but otherwise the mask stayed on my skin fine. Definitely not a similar sheet mask to the Etude House one, but still workable nonetheless. Once I took the sheet mask on my face, my skin felt so smooth. It felt really moisturized. It was bright. It was even. Everything I expect from a low concentration of alpha hydroxy acids. Like I said, really impressed with it and highly recommend if you can get your hands on it. We are now on the second last set of skincare empties, and these ones are kind of in similar categories. The last step of my nighttime skincare routine. They are the balms, the more occlusive products, the Cica products, so the wound healing type of products. I'll start off with actually the genuine last step of a skincare routine, especially during the colder months, and that is an occlusive. This here, I'm sure you have all seen it before. It is the Cerave Baby Healing Ointment. The popular one is the regular healing ointment. For some reason, every time I try to buy this in Canada, they just don't have the regular healing ointment. They have the baby version, but from what I can make out on the ingredients list, it's more or less the same. It is a lighter, more kind of slippier type of occlusive with a bit more beneficial barrier repairing ingredients alongside the petrolatum. I would say out of the three popular ones I have tried, which is Cerave Baby Healing Ointment, Aquaphor, and Vaseline, I would say this is probably my top favorite because of how thinly it applies on the skin. And I actually feel like when I wake up in the morning, my skin feels really nice and soft. The second one after this would be Aquaphor's. I not only use this on my face, but I also do that kind of moisturizing therapy. It was like a Dr. Dre video where you soak in the bathtub in lukewarm water for around 20 minutes or so, and then afterwards you get out and then you apply some type of occlusive. And I decided to use this for that purpose as well. And the dry skin on my body just felt so much softer, and it didn't feel super greasy or anything when I used this, especially in thin layers. So if you're thinking of doing some type of moisturizing therapy like that, I highly recommend checking out the Cerave Healing Ointment for it. I thought I used this before. I don't think I did. It is the Avene's Cicaphate Repairing Protective Cream. The reason why I picked this up is because, one, I wanted to see how it compares to the La Roche-Posay Cica Plus Balm B5+. The Avene Cicaphate seems to be the one that's in constant comparison with the La Roche-Posay Cica Plus Balm. The second reason I picked this up is because I thought I had experience using this product before, because after my CO2 Fraxel laser sessions, the dermatologist would apply an Avene Cicaphate product all over my face and neck. But having tried this texture from the get-go, I immediately realized that this was not the correct product. I believe it was the emulsion the dermatologist was applying all over my face and neck. Nonetheless, I still gave this a shot because I just used it at night, and it was during the colder months that I was giving this a go. And I will say it does a great job at calming down any irritation. I tried to reach for this whenever my face had an allergic reaction, or during the colder months when I go outside, come back inside and the air is warm. I got a huge type of rash on my face, and it was kind of itchy too, so I would call it a rash. It did do the job at calming down my skin, removing any irritation, itchiness, redness from my face after about an hour or so. So it worked rather quickly to soothe my skin. However, where it doesn't compare with the La Roche-Posay Cica Plus Balm B5+ is when it comes to helping my skin battle acne. The Avene Cicaphate Repairing Protective Cream does not compare. It's not at the same level with the Cica Plus Balm B5+ when it comes to tackling acne, and for that, I will not be repurchasing it. I am still slightly curious of trying the emulsion, but at this point in time, not enough. I actually ended up repurchasing the La Roche-Posay Cica Plus Balm B5+. Speaking of which, here's an empty of La Roche-Posay Cica Plus Balm B5+. I did a full review of this. Again, link in the description box down below. I emptied out my third tube of the new B5+. It is a holy grail in my skincare routine. I use it almost every night as a regenerative cream, and it's just been serving my skin well. It always looks good every day in the morning. Any acne that I have, the inflammation becomes reduced and my skin just looks really nice and healthy. I'm going to be continuing to use it until something amazing can replace it. We are now on the last set of skincare empties, which you can probably guess what it is. Sunscreen. Let's start off with the Beauty of Joseon Relief Sun Rice Plus Probiotics SPF 50 plus PA 4th plus. It's been fully reviewed. A link in the description box down below. Like any of the other products I have mentioned during this video. Like any Korean sunscreen that has been tried, it is absolutely cosmetically elegant. I loved using this during the colder months as a standalone moisturizer and sunscreen in one. I was really impressed with my skin actually that it was able to handle this as a standalone moisturizer and sunscreen. I no longer needed to rely on a moisturizer during the day. This applied, again, really easily all over my face and neck. There was a bit of a brightening type of white type of tint on my face, but give it some time and it actually settled pretty nicely to my natural skin tone. I haven't repurchased this because I am trying out a different Korean sunscreen, but I definitely will be considering this at the back of my head when it comes to the colder months, needing some type of cosmetically elegant sunscreen that could provide an extra layer of moisture as well. The last sunscreen and empty for this video is the Avene Intense Protect SPF 50 plus Ultra Water Resistant Fluid. This was my top favorite sunscreen for the year of 2023. I have used it non-stop. It is just a lovely new generation UV filtered sunscreen without alcohol, without fragrance. I'm easily able to apply it all over my face and neck, even without a mirror. It has a slight yellow tint in it, which for me, it doesn't show up that much. If anything, it slightly subdues any unevenness in my skin. When it comes to the really intense European summer days, this is the one I relied on a lot and even applied it on my shoulder, sometimes arms as well. Unfortunately, even though I'm featuring this in an empties video, it is not an empty. It's so close to being an empty, but it is not. I thought that this was good for up to a year and I'm still within the year point of when I purchased this. However, I did not look at the back here where it says it's only good for 6 months after opening. I learned that the hard way because I brought this with me on my beach vacation as my go-to sunscreen for face and body. After the first day of applying this, I ended up breaking out all over my cheeks and it pretty much stayed that way for the rest of my mini vacation. And I highly suspect it's because of this sunscreen. I was using a different sunscreen prior to leaving on this beach vacation. I didn't change anything else in my skincare routine other than the sunscreen I was using. So unfortunately, it was this that broke me out. Otherwise, when it is not expired, when it's in good condition, it works really well in my routine, even with my oily skin type. I still highly recommend this sunscreen. I would repurchase it, but I purchased a different type of high UVA protecting sunscreen, so stay tuned for that in the newbies video. Otherwise, if you are interested in this sunscreen in particular, I did do a full review. Once again, link in the description box down below. That is it for this video of my spring skincare empties. Look at this, it's filling this DM bag to the brim. I cannot wait to toss each and every one of these products. Again, very proud of myself that I managed to empty out so many of them. I even decluttered 10 products in the video prior to a friend. So lots of stuff being cleared out from my skincare collection, really paring it down, and I can't wait to share with you what is new in the collection itself and what I'm currently using in my routine. So stay tuned for that video. That's it for this video. As always, I hope you find content like this helpful and informative. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel down below for future video. Please leave a comment if you have any questions about any 26 empties that I mentioned in today's video. If you have any recommendations for me, especially when it comes to acne patches, micro dart patches, I'm really intrigued by them, but I can't bring myself to spend the money on them. So let me know what you find is worth the money and I'll definitely take a look. That is it for this video. See you all soon. Ciao.